welcome to this edition of the First Aid Show. Now this edition we're carrying on from a previous video we did on the ankle arthroscopy, and this is the ankle subtalar fusion. Now something I've had to have done, I've had to have it on both feet, so I think I can quite happily say that it's something I've experienced quite well. They won't do both the ankles in one time, so you have to have them one at a time because it would be just impossible to walk around. Now, what the subtalar joint is the joint between your heel bone and your ankle. And in my case, it was after a car accident, and the actual joint over the last 30 years has got really, really bad. You might think you don't actually have any joint there, but you do. And it causes the operation will stop inward movement of your foot. So I can still bend my ankle, I can still move my ankle around, but what I can't do is twist it from side to side. Now, the operation itself, the doctors will tell you all about it, but we wanted to really just show what it's like from the patient's point of view. Now, full anaesthetic, so called in early in the morning, full anaesthetic. When you come round, they would inject in painkillers, and also they inject in an agent which numbs the ankle. Now, in most cases, this works fine. For me, it didn't actually work, which is a little bit unfortunate. But what they then did is gave more painkillers and that to actually try and take some of the pain away. Now, when you come round, you'll be in a half cast of plaster, so it's a cast underneath and around the sides, and then it's bandaged in place. Now, that will stay on typically for about 2 weeks. The reason they don't put a full cast on at the start is that if they put a full cast, then the swelling, it could cause other problems. Now, I found you can see the swelling quite well in your toes, and it was quite a lot of pressure. Personally, I had a lot of pain with mine, but I've spoken to a lot of people who've had this done, and a lot say, apart from they just get minor discomfort. Now, we're not quite sure why I was getting pain and they weren't, but a lot of people do not have pain. After the 2 week mark, you go in and they cut away the plaster, and then they put on the full cast, and that will stay on for about 4 weeks. So you're sort of 6 weeks total in plaster. With mine, I was in for 7 weeks, but it depends on the recovery of the ankle. What they then do is remove that plaster cast. They'll use a electric circular saw. It sounds worse than it is, but it literally just cuts away the cast. It doesn't matter if it touches your skin because of the way it's working. It works on an oscillating basis, so it won't actually hurt your skin. So they cut that away. Once they've done that, they'll typically then X-ray. That's really interesting part. You see the X-ray, you can actually see where they've joined it together. So in my operation, and some of these operations do vary, is effectively they've drilled a hole through right through the heel bone into the ankle, and then they've put a large bolt in there. It's screwed in tight, so it's pretty solid. Other doctors sometimes use 2 bolts. It depends on the actual surgeon that you're working with. But in both of my cases, they've used the single bolt going through. So when you see that on the X-ray, it's quite interesting. And then they'll put you into, at that point, into an air cast boot. And what that is a boot that you can remove. At that point, you then are allowed to weight bear, again, subject to your doctors. But if you had just one foot done, then you're walking on the other foot. You'll start to put more and more weight on, and you'll start to get better. And typically, the air cast boot stays on for around about 4 weeks. All this time, you're on crutches. And then after that event, you're then going to take it off. For me, when I had the first one done, obviously my problem was I was walking on a foot that was bad, but it does tend to reduce your mobility quite a lot. And when talking to other people, they found that by the time they put the air cast boot on, pretty much the pain had gone. In my case, a little bit different, but they're still trying to work out that because there's other injuries. But if you've just got problems with the subtalar joint due to arthritis or a minor injury or something like that, you will find that the pain will get a lot better. In fact, one of the nurses who dealt with my wounds in the local hospital, she'd had it done, and she said instantly the pain had pretty much gone away. It's the best thing she ever did. And so definitely, if you can have a problem like that, talk to your surgeon, talk and see what the reactions to the operation will be. But generally speaking, if any of you have any questions about this from a patient's point of view, more than happy to drop us an email at First Aid Show, and we'll get those answered for you.